Along those lines, Alan, we instituted, this has been a couple of years now that we've been doing QBRs, right? And so it's a quarterly business review where we sit down, we analyze the data. The cool thing about our data is our clients have access to it real time. They can see it whenever they want. But then you also have the strength of our team coming in and analyzing that data for you. And the beauty of it is we're telling you, okay, here's what your data looks like. Here's what you're doing well. Here's what you're missing. But then also we have the data of, that huge user base that we can also tell them best practices. So maybe talk a little bit about what the QBRs do, why they're effective, and how they've helped our clients to grow and improve the way that they use. We talk about this being a phone-based business. It's got to work for the distributor. So how do we help them to maximize it based on our QBR process?
Yeah, so because we have so many different endpoints, we collect so much data on the users, and when we visualize that, that can sometimes be daunting to kind of process for corporate, right? So taking the time each quarter to make sure that we go through and highlight the behaviors that their field are exhibiting, whether that's how they're sharing, what they're sharing, et cetera, looking at all of that collectively and making sure that that is in alignment with corporate expectation is really where we start to see a lot of growth, right? So if the top shared asset this month wasn't really the promotion or the product of focus, that corporate takes a step back and thinks, well, why is that the case, right? So that's maybe,
right?
Yeah, how do we improve? So maybe we need to come back and train or recategorize the app so that that asset's more front and center. It's a bunch of different levers and things that we can implement on our side to make sure that corporates receiving or deriving the results that they expect.
And I think that's great. I think, when we look at it, I remember a specific QBR that we did with a large company. They got 20,000 plus users. We sat down when we looked at the data, we showed them, hey, here's your top assets that are being engaged with both on social and just by prospects in general. And it was interesting seeing the VP of marketing go, okay, wait, like that's our number 2 video. Like they thought that was a video that was obsolete. No one was using, different messaging. And it really tweaked how they ended up changing their promotions for the year, their marketing, and even improving some of the other tools. And so it's interesting the data that can really do that. And we pride ourselves in coming in. We want to show you those things. We want to digest it and really tweak it. I think of another client, Alan, maybe we can talk about sampling data for a minute. We help companies to analyze, right? Everything from here's where your samples are being sent from, here's your most active distributors, here's your conversions, talk about conversion rates. So we had a company that they came in and they were averaging about a 16% conversion rate, which is solid. If I can convert 1 out of every 8 samples I'm sending out, that's fantastic, right? And great way to build a business, but we wanted to improve that. So we looked at it, we analyzed it, and some of that we tweaked their campaigns. We added in a coaching leg to coach the distributor on how to follow up. We tweaked some of the things that we'd seen, and now that company's averaging 26% conversion rates. So they went 6 months when they launched at that kind of 16 to 18%, and now it's 24 to 26% and maintaining. So maybe talk about the importance of those. It's not a one-time QBR or an annual. How do we maximize that to help companies improve?
Yeah, so with that, right, we're always talking through best practices, right? So the data is one component, but talking through the best practices and things that they can advise or train the field on to optimize sampling, for example, is one of the main drivers. So making sure that with every sample that the clients have configured, do we have that coaching leg set up? So there's things inside that coaching leg that we can tweak to optimize the follow-up, right? When any sample goes out the door, it's powerful enough just to receive an email, but with those coaching legs to get the text and maybe another product focused video specific to that sample coming up behind it, that's where we see the conversion rates drastically increase.
And I think that's the thing I've loved about sampling in the technology is it's combining the best of physical tools, technology, but then also now maximizing personal relationship and engagement. You can't just depend on the email. And we've learned that from the data that if we can get someone to follow up, if we can get someone to pay for the sample, for example, you get a prospect to pay for it and the conversion rates jump. And so these are the type of things that we try to bring in and really analyze.